Greetings, my name is Traci Smet with Ministry Point Sports Medicine, and today I'm providing a review on portion distortion, which was originally presented by Deborah Tang from the School of Health Promotion and Human Development at University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. So today's presentation is going to focus on some of the reasons why we overeat, including portion sizes, packages and plates, family and friends, habits and rituals, and distractions. So let's start off with portion sizes. Let's take a look at how they look now and how they used to look back then. So the first thing we're going to look at is coffee. Back then, you would order a cup of coffee and it would come in a saucer as indicated on the picture here. You would then have the opportunity to add your own sugar, milk, whatever other things you wanted to add. But nowadays, it's like you have some type of script you have to recite every time you want to get some coffee. And there's so many different additives out there, whether you want light or whole milk or syrups or cream or all these different things. And when you look at the different calories and the actual sizes in comparison, there's a much greater size as it used to be 20 years ago. Okay, let's take a look at a salad. Everyone sees a salad, they think salads are healthy, you can eat as much as you want. That's kind of true and false at the same time. The way the salad becomes unhealthy is on the amount and the types of additives that are put on it. What kind of cheese, what kind of dressing, what kinds of croutons, what other things are you adding to it, salt, pepper, vinegar, those kind of things. 20 years ago, a typical chicken Caesar salad was about 1.5 cups, and now today it's nearly double that size. Hence, the calories are going to go up because of the different types of additives that are put on it. And lastly, let's take a look at popcorn. Popcorn is one of those foods that anytime you go to the movies, I know I have to have, and Deb says she has to have. 20 years ago, the typical popcorn amount was 5 cups that you received. And now today, you receive a bucket full of popcorn. And of course, when you go to the movies, you eat popcorn. Most people pair it with soda, a double negative, a huge calorie amount that's going to be going into your bodies because of this. So in order to know exactly how much you're eating, let's talk about what proper portion sizes are. First, we're starting off with a fist. A fist is about the size of 1 cup or 1 baked potato. That 1 cup is usually the amount of carbs that you should be eating in one sitting. So whether it's pasta, cereal, rice, those kind of things. A DVD or a CD is about the size of 1 pancake, or about the size a pancake should be. A baseball is compared to the size of 1 medium fruit or 1 cup of salad greens. So definitely focusing on the fruits and vegetables with the baseball to give you an idea of how much you can get. So eating more fruits and vegetables and watching those other groups closer is what Deb likes to do. She doesn't like to limit herself on the amount of fruit and vegetables, but more limit herself on the carbs, proteins, and fats that she's eating instead. Okay, so let's talk about cheese and margarine or butter. So 2 dice or 4 stacked dice is equivalent to about 1.5 ounces of cheese. That is 1 serving of milk or milk products. Now when you're looking at butter or any type of margarine that you put on your bread, you should aim for about 1 dice. That is going to be 1 serving that you want to put on that specific item. So it definitely helps you think about when you're going out to eat for sure is if whether or not you're getting the right amount of portion sizes on the food that you're eating. Now, I know everyone's heard about the deck of cards one. The deck of cards is equivalent to 3 ounces of meat, fish, or poultry. Now, the recommended amount is about 5.5 ounces per day. So keep in mind you're eating about a deck and a half of cards per day of meat. Now, one of the questions that was brought up was in regards to fish. If fish is typically usually filleted or baked, it's usually not as thick as a deck of cards. So in that case, you'd want to equivalent that to about the size of a checkbook, and that would be 3 ounces. And lastly, looking at a ping pong ball, which should be about equivalent to the amount of 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Again, 1 serving that you're looking to get. Deb really wanted to talk about warehouse and club food stores. Some of the problems is that a lot of us think we're saving money since the price per unit is less. That's true. That's a given fact that you're saving money whenever you buy bulk amounts of food. But just because it's a bulk, we tend to think that we need to eat more every time we go to the pantry. So we go to the pantries, we see that specific box of crackers as Deb talked about, and we see it and we eat, and next thing you know, we're sick of eating it, and we forget about it. In that case, we end up throwing away, this extra amount of crackers because we ate so much and got sick of it. The big main product here, or idea here that Deb's trying to get across is that whenever there's an abundance of something, even if it's soap or laundry detergent, and food especially, we tend to use more. And in a study that she found, we use exactly or about 20% more of something just because we have an abundance of it. So you may want to think again before signing up for that membership for that specific warehouse club food store. Okay, let's talk about the dinner plates, another reason why most people tend to overeat. The typical dinner plate used to be about 8 inches, which is now considered the salad plate for most people's dishware sets that they have. However, the actual dinner plate is 11 inches now, so 11 versus 8, that's a lot more extra inches there that you can put more food on your plate and actually overeat. So one of Deb's suggestions is to use the salad plate when you're eating dinner. That way you don't put so much food on there, you don't overfill your plate and overeat. If you don't have a salad plate, you can leave about a 1 inch or 2 inch diameter rim around the outside of your plate that you don't fill, and that'll help you again control those portion sizes a little bit better. So hooray for us, March is Nutrition Month, and the National the American Dietetic Association has come out with this new advertising, Eat Right with Color. And if you're fortunate enough and you're in New York City in Times Square, you can actually see the actual display of their new advertisements. So what this advertisement is talking about is choosing foods that are naturally bright in color, such as your fruits, your vegetables. Deb likes to look for locally grown foods. That way she's getting fresh produce all the time. So again, looking at these different types of things to help you out. Okay, so another reason why we tend to overeat is family, friends, and gatherings. So here's a couple of suggestions to help you slow down and get things back on track. First off is pace, the actual eating speed that you eat your food. It is a known fact that it takes about 20 minutes for our brain to send us, our stomachs to send a signal to our brain to tell us that we are full. So in that case, you want to eat a little bit less, wait 20 minutes, and if you're still feeling hungry, at that time, go ahead and eat another plateful or eat a little bit more. Now let's talk about social norms. When you typically eat with family and friends, you tend to eat more because you're having a conversation, you're having fun, you're sharing stories, all those great things. One of the things you want to do is try to slow down and maybe copy the pace of somebody that tends to be a slow eater in your family. Slowing down and eating and enjoying your food and really tasting it can help you with not overeating in these types of occasions. So let's talk about different types of gathering and the way the meals are served. With plated meals, you tend to decide what the portion sizes are. You put them on the plates are set, that is what they are. With a family-style service, for instance, put all the food on the table and you put a serving spoon in it, everyone serves themselves, you tend to have an abundance. And because of you're in a family, most people tend to either say finish it off or store it. If you do decide to finish it off, that's where the overeating problem can occur. So in that case, maybe store it instead. And with buffets, we're putting the money in, and there's all these great amount of foods out there, and we just want to try everything. So by trying everything, there's actually a thing called varieties temptation. When there's multiple amount of things that we want to try, we will tend to eat more of it just because we want to taste it versus actually how full we are and not recognizing those signals from our actual stomach and brain. So with this specific example here, we have jelly beans. Most people will tend to eat more of the jelly beans on the right because they are separate and they want to taste every single one. than actually trying to, just eat a little bit and just get their fill. They'll overeat. Alright, let's talk about television viewing. Television viewing can have a major effect on the amount of food we eat. It is another known fact that when you are watching TV, it actually lowers our body's ability to burn calories. It decreases our metabolic rate. Now, you can counter this effect by exercising while you watch TV, but again, there's different positives and negatives to that as well. When you are watching TV, most people also tend to develop some type of ritual. Every time they sit down to watch their specific show, they eat a bowl of ice cream, they have chips, they have a soda, they have whatever it is. So if the television tends to be your reason why you are overeating, you may want to consider watching less TV than more if you're looking at controlling your weight. A huge congratulations to the Green Bay Packers for their win at Super Bowl. But did some of you realize some of those commercials that you watched during Super Bowl actually made you want to eat more? When you look at the amount of commercials actually on during the Super Bowl, a third of them are car commercials, a third of them are online dating services and cell phone companies, and a third of them are food companies. And no wonder why so many of us tend to overeat during the Super Bowl. This year's Super Bowl commercial campaign for food composed of Doritos, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Snickers, and Budweiser. So I know many of us are sitting there watching, and all we could think about was the dog running into the door, and it made us want Doritos. I remember that's the one that specifically came to mind for me. So again, these commercials are geared and are designed to make you eat more. So according to Brian Wazinski, the best diet is the one you don't know you're on. Now, Deb highly recommends this book, Mindless Eating, written by Dr. Wazinski. If you are interested, about reading a book that's fun on food and talks about different types of eating behaviors, definitely go ahead and pick this book up. So Deb mentioned during the presentation that she struggled with her own weight loss. She lost 25 pounds in a year and a half, and she's managed to be able to keep it off. So these are her top helpful things that she did to actually get herself back on track. The first one was eat regularly. She never skipped meals. The second one is no forbidden food. She never told herself she couldn't have a certain food. Because in fact, whenever you tell yourself you can't have something, all you do is crave it more. The third thing is she used smaller plates. As we mentioned before, utilizing that salad plate or keeping that rim around the outside of your plate instead so you don't overfill your plates. The fourth thing she did was only eat her calories. She stayed away from juice, coffee, soda, and if she did drink or want something with a little bit of sweetness, she drank calorie-free drinks instead. Number 5, staying well hydrated. She constantly was drinking at least 6 to 8 cups of water per day. She only chose the best of the best. If she had to or she really wanted something sweet, she would buy the best dark chocolate or her favorite kind out there. She never skimped on that because when she got to eat it, she really wanted to enjoy it. Number 7, share or doggy bag it. Anytime she ate out with her husband and her daughter, they would either share an appetizer and an entree or an entree and a dessert. I mean, if eating out tends to be your problem area, maybe you don't order the appetizer, the entree, and dessert. If you know you really want your desserts, order your desserts, but don't order the appetizer. That'll help you kind of control those portions a little bit more. Now, if you don't have somebody that you can share the meal with, like you're out with a family or an interview or those kind of things, ask for the doggy bag right away and put half your meal right into the doggy bag so that you have the other half for later. Number 8, powering the first 2 bites. For instance, she used dessert as her example. It only takes 2 bites of something for somebody to truly enjoy it and taste it and not, desire a whole lot more. Those first 2 bites are the empowerment mark, so make sure that you're really enjoying them, and maybe that can help you control. Number 9, engage in mindful eating. Never eat from an open package, eat in a designated place, and never eat when you're watching TV or you're doing any type of email or computer stuff. And number 10, keep those helpful rituals. 80% of the food that she ate was fruit and vegetables. She would eat till she was about 80% full and then eat fruits or vegetables to kind of fill her up. Her big helpful habit was brushing her teeth when she was done eating. after she would eat, she'd brush her teeth and she would be done. Now, if her husband wanted to eat something or her daughter, they would do what they want to do, but by Deb brushing her teeth, that helped her control eating later in the night. So those are all of Deb's helpful tips in regards to portion distortion. If you do have any questions or comments about this presentation, please feel free to contact me as indicated on the slide in front of you. My name is Traci Smet with Ministry Point Sports Medicine. Have a happy and healthy day.